6 things. Is there any still, I've said it before, is there anything else that comes to mind?
Read those off again. We have
Wait, I got a question. Or a
I don't
comment.
like the airboats in the middle of the night.
I
Like they're loud.
The what?
That could be under the nuisance ordinance.
And lights.
I agree with you on that one. I can hear them cross the
Now, I'm
line.
gonna say something. I don't know if you could do that because that's under the Blackburn Dam, the Upper Neches River Authority.
Well,
we do that.
don't we have the right tickets on
We
that?
do have.
Another problem you're gonna have with that is,
We do.
I don't like,
I don't think
but another problem you have with
Oh,
that tournament that we do every year, that's for an airport.
Well, but that would fall under the permit thing that he was talking about.
Permit issue.
Yeah.
And we do have jurisdiction on it to a certain point.
Yeah, but
I don't know if you can tell me how airport.
Well,
I think Cedar Creek Lake has some kind of an ordinance over there prohibiting airboats on the lake, period. Really? Yeah, that's what the game warden told us.
I'll ask game warden.
I wonder if that is under the Lake Authority, under Tarrant County.
I don't know.
Anybody else have a comment to offer? We may not go.
I don't like them either.
That would wake up in the middle of the night.
They killed all the
inside
bullfrogs
your
out there
house.
by us, so that just made me mad right there. They did. They stabbed all the bullfrogs the first summer I was there.
Yes.
Well, I know you said there was, the littering really bothers me. I go down my road and pick up, and I know you said there's an ordinance against it. It's just, it makes the area, being a newcomer, it makes the area look awful. I'm just telling you. And I try to pick it up whenever I can, but people just throw their beer cans out, and
Now,
it's ridiculous.
Let me say this, Julie. You know, what we have access to here is a prisoner exchange for time. And it's just a matter of getting the prisoner down here, and you can use as many as you want.
And not necessarily a prisoner, could we use if someone comes into court?
Yeah,
and wants
do
to
that too.
Do community service?
Well, I'm just saying, being new to the area,
I know
driving
it's-
down the
I know.
roads, it's just, it's
especially on our road.
It
That's
really
the
is.
dump
I
site.
know, and I pick it up, and the next day, and I think I know who's probably doing it, but,
You gotta prove
you
it,
know,
though.
That's the
I
only
know.
problem with some of these ordinances, I feel. I mean, I'm all
If you
for
have-
having some rules to live by. I think we need them.
yeah.
But, it's just like state law, don't mess with Texas. I mean, if you drive around the United
Yeah,
States,
it's a joke.
Texas is one of the most littered states you find. And we've always talked, we feel like it's probably because of all the pickup trucks we have, stuff flying out of the back. The problem is, the litter is out there and you don't see when it occurs, and so it's more a matter of trying to figure out what to do once it's there. I mean, we can pass a law, we can pass an ordinance and say
Catch 'em.
That's
no
not gonna solve the
littering,
problem.
but
Yeah.
it's not gonna
But
solve the unsightly.
But I will say this
But
now, we
I
could
understand what
amend
you're
the
saying.
litter ordinance to where we could put a pickup order in there.
Is it already in there? Well, but
Well,
Still
You
gotta
gotta
have
see it
you
happen.
could only have it generated out of a fine, and I bet you we haven't had one fine for litter come through the court.
You have to see it happen, because you can't
Yeah.
prove it.
Right, exactly.
maybe next.
Well, I'm gonna start
next
getting
year we'll do-
license numbers.
Maybe next year we'll do a budget somebody, if we can find somebody inexpensive. Trash up.
Well, I just wish, just like you said,
The only thing is you get into liability issues.
It's
Or
just
you
like-
get hit on the highway, you could, the city could sue.
I don't know, well, you know what, but the thing about it is, why can't we get
He
somebody?
just paid me off all around to pick up.
Well, I mean, the judge could designate.
That's something we have to talk to the judge about, but I don't see a problem if somebody do community service.
Yeah, we had abortion in the fire engines and
Needs to be done.
Hey, I don't have a problem with that at all. You won't find me.
I think it's a good idea. I think that's what we need to do, because that road is awfully
What
trashy.
about Coalfield prisons and stuff? I mean, do they ever take them out to do work like that on the
I
highways?
don't know
I
about
bet
that.
we still have to pay for transport.
Use county, you have to
I
use
think it
county
pretty much
and
is
city.
county.
Have to use county and lady.
And that's just a matter of picking them up and bringing them down here.
The Economic Development Board, if you remember, Mike, or you weren't there at the time, we did approach them and they did help
Merry
us
Christmas.
by offering us prisoners to come out and help us clean up the park over here. So there is a mechanism in order to take advantage of that free labor. And,
Is there no cost to the city at all?
no, it's not. And they come out with supervision to resolve those things that you're asking about. So but what I'm getting to is such as the bridge fishing. If we don't have people bridge fishing, then we don't have people throwing trash. So there's a huge amount of impact that has on just the two bridge areas that we're talking about. So those kind of things we can do to help stem the problem a little bit. But with that said, it's just like the comments made. If you don't catch them doing it and almost have a photo of it flying out of the truck or flying out their windows, it's hard for that to ever happen.
But if we
And it's
have
very
one complaint
frustrating.
It does happen, then you can enforce it.
I have personally picked up our roads for years. I know the problems. It's horrible.
I mean,
Is there-
it's just ongoing.
To be constructive and not hold these people up, is there anything else we should list out? And then now let's just make a comment as to how we're gonna attack this. I have 6 here.
I can't prove it.
Let's just make a general, it's not a votable thing, but y'all wanna pick out 2 of these things to start off?
Read them off again.
I'm ready. If you wish to write, I'll take it slow. Animal. Firearm. Fence.
But could the fence fall under nuisance?
It could maybe, but we'll keep it on the list as nuisance.
Now, that's
A nuisance can fall in, take care of a lot of things that's been discussed tonight.
well, I think that's like rats and dilapidated
Well,
buildings and, right?
Noise, boats with propellers on them, like the airboats. All right, the next one was bridge fishing.
Could we amend the current ordinance for that?
For bridge fishing? I don't think we have a current ordinance.
The litter?
Well, yeah, no, I think,
He wants to do away with bridge fishing altogether, not necessarily just the littering.
I was just giving a byproduct of that effort.
I wonder if we could shoot that underneath another ordinance.
Well, let's look at it. We're just trying to get our overviews
What's that
developed.
last one?
And the last one was building
Building.
conditions.
Okay, well, that would go, didn't you say
Condemnation.
condemnation?
I can't spell it, I shouldn't use it.
You want to start off with the easy one or the hard one first, all right? If you figure the nuisance is going to be the biggest one.
Yeah, that's gonna cover a big category.
Well, I can tell it's gonna be a can of worms. When you get into that animal part, oh my God, John.
Well, it's going to
You
start
have
out.
no idea.
Well,
You want to start with the condemnation first? That may be the easiest one to, so we kind of get to feel how,
The
I'll,
bridge fishing would be the easiest one
Yes.
to defend,
how about we do bridge fishing and condemnation first?
because they're not from here anyway, or they'd have a place to fish, right?
yeah. All right. Bridge fishing's been offered. Anybody else been offered?
And when are we gonna get together to try to format these ordinances?
We're gonna get to that.
Any suggestions?
We have one so far. Are we in general consensus that bridge fishing could be one of them that we attack first? Is there any objection to that thought?
Who we're going to pull from for that one, though?
No?
To draw from.
We'll see.
We have to make our own. Make our own.
On the bridge fishing, I bet you could get Donna to pull something off the
Cedar Creek or
computer.
something.
I'll
It'd be
look
about
too.
I'm sure
iron
Cedar
plan.
Creek.
And I challenge all of us to develop some kind of interjection when we do these things. So we have number 1, bridge fishing. Number 2, well-being. We'll stop there.
Well, I think that the condemnation, you know, would be a good one. And most every city has adopted that ordinance. We could probably just, like he said, I mean, there's one in here.
Yeah, but
Rats, cats, and
Yeah,
mice.
that's probably a little too long.
The firearms one would be rather simple, I think, in that you could limit it to particular type of weapons, you know, where you could leave it open to, you know, if you wanted to kill a snake, you can do
Yeah.
it with such and such a gun, but you can't use this,
Well,
this, and this.
I don't know that you could say that you could use this gun. You could
Well,
probably just say you can't use
Can't
these
use
guns.
these, and everything else is open
Yeah.
to be
Well, I
used.
was gonna bring this today, but I don't know if anybody knows this, but you are not permitted to shoot within the 355 sea level elevation of this lake. It is a punishable offense.
Even duck hunting?
Duck hunting is in a particular area at a certain time and
And you
is
got to
permitted.
yeah.
If you shoot a snake on this lake, you are in violation, and if a game warden or any officer sees you, it says any officer of the law can issue you a citation for it. And that means that I'd be out of about $2 million if they had ever caught me.
You know, and another thing too is when you deal with the firearms, you want to take into account, you know, some of us probably have concealed weapon permits, which allows you to carry certain types of guns. You might just want to consider that when you're trying to define what
I
kind
don't
of
know that I
weapon
even want
you
to
can
touch
carry.
that. though.
What's that?
I don't know that I even want to touch that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as far as trying to limit somebody that, you know, not shoot a snake with a pistol or something like that. I don't even want to, because that's too, I don't even want to go there.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear you say.
Yeah. You know, I own guns myself. I just want to be able to have,
You just
you know.
don't want automatics.
Yeah, I don't want my next door neighbor out there with an automatic
Uzis out
weapon,
there
or,
and-
you know.
50
Yeah.
caliber machine gun.
Yeah. Or,
With that respect, Pam is probably right. The ordinance probably wouldn't be that difficult to put together.
Shall we
And
do
Mayor, would you
fishing?
consider putting a private citizen on this too during this process, or do you not feel that's
No,
necessary?
that's where we've tried to start it off.
I understand that.
are you volunteering yourself?
I would volunteer if the city council
You don't
asked
have
me.
any
I
objections?
would certainly do
No,
that.
absolutely not.
For
I tell you what I'll do, since this is what you want. At the next meeting, instead of bringing these ordinances up, I'm gonna reassign a committee at that time. So make sure you're here,
Yeah.
and we'll reassign a committee to look into these ordinances, okay?
And Mayor, could I ask you on when you do that with a committee, try, maybe for us to try not to limit it to, let's just say Bruce wants to be on that committee, then can he kind of say, if you want to come help him, you're welcome to come help him. We're not gonna, I don't want to limit anybody from coming and saying, I would like to give my ideas.
I think there needs to be no limit on it, because I think that the citizens all need to be in on it.
Well, that's
But,
why
you know,
I've
he
addressed
can
this
be a
gallery so
committee-
much.
Any
He
and
could
all,
be
the
the
more
committee
the-
chairman
right.
and then.
Yeah, and I mean,
The
and
more
if
the
you
merrier.
guys feel like, you know, because I'm an EDC member, that there's a conflict, you know, I'm sure there's lots of other citizens out there that share the same interest that all of us share, which is trying to come up with something that benefits our city.
Bruce, there's nothing wrong with mobility.
And if you
If you're willing to put forth your time, we'll accept it.
Okay.
right,
Nobody's gonna
and you
condemn
could
that.
be head of that committee, and then everybody could offer the suggestions to you. That'd be excellent. And I
Well,
want all that we can
I would
get.
think that the way to do this would have, when you have these meetings, you know, maybe even meet with a couple of city council members at the same time. I mean, that's where I see
Oh,
the
yeah.
problem is.
Yeah, I would want to, I would want to be there.
But on a workshop situation forum like this, I think we always need to be addressing our forum out into the audience, because they're here taking time out of their situation out of interest, I hope. And hopefully it's a constructive interest. So that's why I have peppered y'all with that question. But with that said, they can be a pseudo part of our group. We're not going to bury ourselves off from them. They're part of the city as we are. But with that said, I'm all for that idea, because I think the more people that participate, the more chance of agreement will occur.
That's right, exactly,
Well,
well said.
and less of a backlash from people that didn't say, oh, y'all passed this and y'all didn't listen to anybody. Well, we come back and say, well, we listened to our committee. It was on it's posted in our meetings that we were going to be talking about it. You had the right to be there. You didn't vote on it.
Well, do we want to set up like a standing time once a week, every 2 weeks, the third Thursday of the month? Do we want to set up something in advance so we can kind of make our calendars available to?
Well, I think when the mayor gets his committee together, I think that would be the mayor's call, but I like that idea, where maybe that way people or council people that are on the committee would know ahead what time it's going to be, so.
If I may interject, we have 2 meetings a week during the week of our council meeting and EDC. I'd rather not have another third meeting that same week.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm all for that idea. Deadlines do help create responses and make things
There's
happen.
no way that you could congeal those two meetings, is there, like offer?
EDC in this?
Yeah.
Well, Mike,
That'd be,
sometimes.
sure save a lot of time.
Well, no, sometimes it'll actually create a situation where you're here for 3 or 4 hours. But, you know,
That's too much. That's too much in
I
one
think
night.
it's too much for.
I would
me as
rather the
well.
mayor, appoint that, and having an off week is, I think that's actually a good idea.
I will look at it, Bruce.
Okay.
And once we're starting the committee, I'll get with the committee individuals, and then we'll sit down and come up with something.
And
And see, if
sometimes-
you do it in an open forum like that, then there's no need for a quorum.
Yeah, and
It can just be a city
if I
meeting.
get busy
Matter
and
of fact, we
can't
can just
come
call
to
it
the
a
next
city
meeting,
workshop.
I'm telling you right now that if the council deems they want to put me on it, by all means do so.
Well, these-
I would be glad to.
this
go.
type forum is not to be a voting forum that obligates the city. That's done under the council meetings that we have. So these won't be special called council meetings per se, they're just workshops that we're, but we do have to have a quorum to have a workshop. So with that said, we will have
Well,
these.
we have to have a quorum if we are, well, like y'all are doing today, if y'all are doing the workshop. If Bruce and his committee wants to do it, you don't have to have a quorum.
Well,
Because it's their
absolutely.
workshop, and we don't have to
Yeah,
have a
then
quorum.
anybody could sit in.
Anybody can sit in, anybody
Oh,
can-
absolutely, okay.
So that's the difference. So
Okay.
that'd be even better.
If you're allowing me to call the meeting, if there's nothing else, I'll adjourn this meeting. We don't have to vote. If there's is there anything else before we say adjournment? Before I hit the gavel? Anybody else?
About this meeting?
Yes. Then, with that said, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
It does good.
That sounds good.
It does
That sounds
good.
I'm glad to have our own ordinances.